Welcome back to JambarTV. I'm Amanda Joernt.
And I'm Thomas Kushner. We have a special episode this week dedicated to Black History Month and related campus events.
Let's take a look at how YSU is honoring the African American community.
A diversity and inclusion workshop brought YSU students and faculty together in honor of Black History Month. The event took place in Kilcolly Center's Chestnut Room and taught audience members how to discuss diversity in a productive way. The Reverend Jamie Washington, president and founder of the Washington Consultant Group, led Saturday's discussion. He aimed to create a sense of diversity within a community, including race, gender equality, and inclusion.
Here in the U.S., we share and name a value of liberty and justice for all. And to live into that value, we have to help folks see where that's not true or that's not the lived experience for everyone, and what the implications of that are for our society. So for educators, for teachers, for employees, for students, this space is important as we cultivate the next round.
YSU's Chestnut Room in Kilcolly was transformed into a traditional African marketplace. Community members shopped for clothing, jewelry, artwork, and more. The African youth dance group Harambe performed traditional African dances as well as performed in a drum circle. The event is only the first this month to celebrate and teach about African American history.
I'm a faculty member here, and so I try to tell my students, going to college is much more than just going to classes. So we're really trying to encourage people to come here and learn more about a culture you may not be familiar with.
In addition to these festivities, the Youngstown Post Office revealed the annual stamp commemorating an influential African American in history. This year, journalist Gwen is honored for her achievements worldwide. A few faculty members have been teaming up to create more events to celebrate African American culture during the month of February.
There's been an increase in suicide against African American teens, so we're bringing in a speaker, Eric L. King Sr., who will be discussing issues and myths about Black mental health and Black mental health awareness in the Black community. And he's coming on February 19th, and he'll be here from 4 to 6 in the James Gallery. We live in a time where things are more diverse and people are a lot more open, and I think it's great to kind of celebrate. And I also think it's important to have events that will include everybody, but also kind of celebrate the contributions of African Americans.
Welcome back to JambarTV. This week I'm joined with Dr. Cryshanna Jackson Leftwich, professor here at YSU and member of the YSU Black History Month Planning Committee. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Jackson.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So last time we spoke was last year's Black History Month, and we talked about how at the time there was a lack of awareness for Black History Month on campus. Has that changed this year?
I think it's changed a little bit. Last month was kind of a transitional year for the university, so a lot of the offices that we had filled when I originally came, William Blake and Sylvia Eimler, they were vacant. But since we've last spoken, we've hired an associate provost for diversity and inclusion, Carol Bennett, and she's been able to kind of step in, bring some awareness, bring some continuity to the events with diversity and inclusion. So I see that as progress.
So how is YSU using Black History Month as a platform to talk about topics that are important to the African American community? I know that the suicide rates of African Americans is increasing.
So I think it's important that we talk about some of the things that plague our community. And so to your point, Black Student Union is bringing in a mental health speaker that's going to talk about myths in the Black community with suicide and mental health awareness. We also have African Night coming up, and I also think that it's important that we use this to not only bring attention to issues, but to kind of bring our community together. Last year, we were unable to put together the African marketplace that had been a staple at YSU because So, like I said, Dr. Anderson had left, so we didn't have a director for Africana Studies at the time. But this year we were able to bring the African Marketplace back, and it had a really well turnout. And I think the community was happy to see that YSU has stepped back up and we're able to provide those events for the campus and the community.
Yeah, like you said, the African Marketplace is known in the whole community. It's not just a YSU thing. So bringing that back, I'm sure, was a big success.
It was. We were happy we were able to do that.
So what other events can we expect for Black History Month?
So, like I said, we have the African Marketplace next week, Wednesday from 4 to 6 in the James Gallery. We're bringing in our keynote mental health awareness speaker, Eric L. King. He started his own mental health practice in Beechwood, and he's going to come in and he's going to talk about myths surrounding the Black community, the increase in suicide rate, the whole idea about just pray it away. And I'm really excited to bring him in. At the end of the month, we'll be having Africana Night by the Africana Student Group, and so they'll be having food and fun, and they're selling tickets, so I think that would be a great event for people to come out to.
So what does Black History Month mean to you, and why is it important to celebrate?
I think it's important to celebrate all cultures, but for myself, I kind of grew up kind of aware of my heritage, but not everybody was privileged to know all the contributions and all the positive things that African Americans have done. And so I think that when we bring awareness to those and show the contributions of everybody to society, it kind of can bring us together and bring us as a group. Last night I was unable to attend, but they had the Dance Theater of Harlem, and it got rave reviews, and a lot of people from the community, once again, were just so excited, and they brought their kids out to just kind of see that and see what we're doing. So it kind of gives you goosebumps to kind of just show all the positive contributions and things that African Americans are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone out there, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. If you need more additional information on Black History Month events, things that we were talking about, visit the Youngstown State University website, and we will list all that information for you.
YSU Students United and Milena hosted a panel and discussion on race and ethnicity. The goal was to discuss a topic that is oftentimes considered controversial and to bring students together to see how they're more alike than different.
The conversations that YSU Students United have, they're different topics, even about mental health, about race, about religion. These are topics that people are so afraid to talk about. And with discussion comes education, and not just education, but awareness.
Students were placed at tables in Kilcawley Center's Chestnut Room and given questions about race and ethnicity to discuss amongst each other. After each series of questions, students were encouraged to share how they answered the question with the entire room.
Youngstown, kind of to me at least, seems like a hub of all sorts of diversity, you know, racially, religiously, economically. So I think that we have a lot of opportunities around us, and I wish that I was doing more to bridge those gaps, but I think that having events such as these, or even as international coffee hours, things like those where we're intentionally surrounding ourselves with people that are different than us, I think that that's a really good start.
Howard says the event's successful turnout was necessary because it's important to hear different viewpoints.
And I think what people, like the people who chose to share and broadcast their opinions, really kind of made the other people who were maybe too shy or felt like their opinion didn't matter, really step back and think and wow, okay, that was a good point, or maybe I should say this. So it provoked even more conversation later on.
YSU Students United will host their next discussion on April 8th. A topic is yet to be determined.
This is the last episode of JambarTV that I will be anchoring, so I just wanted to thank you, Thomas, for being an amazing co-anchor and just for teaching me so many things along the way, and I hope we can remain good friends.
Oh, of course we can. Amanda, I want to thank you for coming in every week and just making this a wonderful experience for me and for the whole crew here. You've set the bar very high for what it means to be a JAMBAR anchor.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
We're going to miss you, Amanda.
Oh, I appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you. For the last time, I'm Amanda Joernt.
And I'm Thomas Kushner. We'll see you next Friday at noon, Penguins.